Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Founder to Founder. I'm here with NaShawn Edwards with Sunrise Learning Academy, and we are in Indiana.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely.
And by us, I mean me and my daughter. She's my little personal assistant this time. So we want to learn more about you, your background, how we got here, because this is an amazing space. So tell me how we got here.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for coming out. I know that was a long journey. A little bit about Sunrise Learning Academy, founded this year. And what inspired me to do this was kind of our own struggles with our boys. So we have a big family already. We've got 5 boys and a daughter, but we're also a foster family. So what I've noticed about a few of our foster kiddos and our own, like just the struggles with education. Indiana has specific state standards, but it used to be like a pass or fail system, and then we weren't kind of adhering to it. So Indiana kind of created this open space for school choice, which they started kind of shutting down public schools that weren't performing and then turning them into charter schools.
Okay.
Well, then it opened up a space for non-accredited private schools to open. So that's what Sunrise Learning Academy is registered with as the state, is a non-accredited Christian school.
Okay.
So that opens funding for the ESA scholarship. And Sunrise specifically, we focus on personalized learning plans because sometimes you got to meet the student where they're at and not at their grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with one thing that we noticed with our boys is I'm tired of the excuse of the COVID effect.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, when are we going to get over that and start getting these kids to where they need to be? We're not raising children, we're not raising kids, we're not raising babies, we're raising adults. So when they become adults, COVID can't be an excuse anymore.
True.
So what efforts are we putting forth? And then what I'm getting back from, legislation and school boards, funding, lack of funding with this, lack of funding with that. Thankfully, that there is kind of a more open opportunity here in Indiana with school choice, and especially with homeschool and what the freedom that you can do. Freedom is the word that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of homeschool students that, have became doctors, lawyers, successful, so that is what inspired me to do Sunrise Learning Academy, honestly, because I remember what it was like to be a kid and be that student that was in the same position, and I don't get this, and I'm kind of afraid to ask because you're going to chew my head off, you know? So, and it would, sometimes it would seem like the whole class got it but me, and it really wasn't that. So, personalized learning plans have been the solution for Sunrise Learning Academy, and that is what we put forth. We're faith-based, but those personalized learning plans help our students get to those state standards, but at their own pace. So, yeah, you got a question?
I was going to say, I want to dive a little bit more into your personalized learning plans, because there's parents out there and they're like, well, what does that look like? So what does that look like for a kiddo here at your micro school?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is kind of controversial, and especially in the Indiana, learning pod, homeschool, and micro school space. But I do believe in measuring the student's acuity. Okay. So we'll do dibbles or we'll do iReady. So I want to see really, because I'm very data and analytical based with a clinical informatics background. So I look at data. I need to see where you're at specifically, because living here, I know what you're going to go into. So I need to see where, you're at, because if homeschooling isn't the end outcome, or you decide to go to the public school after this, if this isn't the route, I know that these are the tools that those school systems, this is what we do in Indiana. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I kind of measure that, get some information from the parents on how they feel that their previous education experience went, what they're looking for their students' education. And then I talk to the student as well, what helps you, and what doesn't help, you know, and
Yeah.
how is home, you know, like what's going on holistically for
Yes.
this student. That's what the personalized learning plan contributes to the student as a whole. So specifically my champion, I won't mention him by name, but my champion, one thing that I noticed is him not being ready for kindergarten, but we totally can, you know, work on kindergarten readiness on a kindergarten level, just at his pace.
Yes.
So one of the things, the issues that he needed occupational therapy. It had been missed by other, you know, foster care and, you know, just a slip. So something that I noticed just being in healthcare. I'm like, why are you doing that? So I grabbed his hand and I'm like, oh, baby, you're so tense. Like, you need OT. Like, his hand was so tight, like, and couldn't hold a pencil. So we used a different type of pencil grabber for him. A pencil grabber.
Oh, the one where you stick your fingers in?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And he was so infatuated with it that he was like, I can write a J. Look. You know? But then after that, he was dog tired. It wore him out.
Yeah.
So we incorporated, instead of like a cool down period time, he needed a nap. You know? Totally fine. Because, I mean, seriously, he was wore out from just this lesson. And I am so tired. He couldn't focus. In a regular setting, that inattentiveness would have been a behavior, right?
Yeah.
And a negative connotation to the student. Really, he's just sleepy, you know, because he wasn't ready. He was not ready to sit in an institutional setting. Yeah. So, that's how those personalized learning plans work. And when I know how the student is, you know, themselves, magic happens.
And one thing that you said that I love that you said holistically, looking at the whole kid.
Yeah.
In my micro school one time we had a kiddo that she was so tired she just fell asleep on the couch. Yeah. And we're like, you know what, just let her sleep. Yeah. Close the room down, just let her sleep. Yeah. When she woke up, turns out she was up all night. Exactly. You know, but in a traditional setting, then it becomes like, oh, this child's a behavior. What's going on? Instead
Terrible
of just
parent at home getting issues like put your kid to bed early. You know,
instead of just responding in the moment of like what the child needs, and that's what I love about micro schools. We can respond to them in the moment.
Absolutely, because there's two things, you know, we have no control over: yesterday and tomorrow. Yeah. You know, but here,
I need to put that on
right now. This is what we're going to do. You know, but having that personalized learning plan and the specific model that I created for Sunrise is going to not hinder that student. It doesn't hold them back. It brings them forward, and we're going to measure those benchmarks because the end goal is to match the state standards. And that's why I say it's kind of controversial here, but I don't care, you know, because I know if this doesn't work out, I just want you to be prepared.
Yes. And I understand why you say it's controversial. When I talk to homeschooling families that are just looking for assistance, I always tell them to look at the standards because it's a baseline.
Exactly.
It's instead of like picking things out of the sky and you're like, I don't know where to begin, look at the state standards of like,
and it's so overwhelming to pick like this curriculum, and then it gets expensive.
Oh, yes.
Homeschooling is expensive. That's something that they don't even talk about, you know? And it's then, you know, you'll see everybody online asking all these questions and having all these frustrations. And then that's, you know, something specific to our school district. That I was talking about with the superintendent, that he noticed that the enrollment is low for K through second grade. Okay. And he specifically asked me why. And I said, because of the homeschool movement. Yes. And I said, but by second grade, parents are tired. They're tired about third grade. So then you get this kid that, you know, has had all of these different curriculums pieced together. And then they go out to the farm in the middle of the day, you know, and do this learning co-op. And then you sit them and put them in a classroom and they're not prepared. You know, I'm not saying anything against that. I take our kids to the farm too. You know, like we do those things, but within reason. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's an extreme. And I think that that's something that we as parents kind of miss. And But like I said, there's two things that we can't change: yesterday and tomorrow.
Yeah.
But in that moment, that's what parents are thinking about. And once they finally get burnt out from homeschooling, because you can.
Yeah.
You truly can.
And the content gets a little more complicated as
it
well.
Does. And then it'll be, like, I don't even know what this is. I've never learned this in school. Because they do have different methods of teaching math now that I'm like,
it's like,
really?
What is this? Hold up.
yeah. Hold on. Let me look at my teaching guide real quick.
Let me figure this out and then I'll teach you.
That's another thing. Like, those guides are separate from the curriculum sometimes.
Yes.
So then it's like, hey, you got to go to this parent. Well, they don't have the one that's updated to the one that the curriculum that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too complex. So having those state standards, like you said, as a baseline is what we do here.
Okay.
Don't care if it's controversial. It's working.
Yeah.
And it's helping prepare our students. So
that is the truth.
Yeah.
And more about Sunrise Academy, what does a typical day look like here?
Yeah, absolutely. So during a typical day, we'll start at around 9 a.m. And we'll start with our pledge and our classroom pledge and our morning prayer. We'll do our devotions, and then we will actually have Danny Go, or we'll put on there's these silly YouTube things that you can like pretend that you're in Super Mario World.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, the kids will do the thing and they'll be punching to kind of just wear them down a little bit because they're so revved up.
Yeah.
Because we start late, they're finally, awake. So, And I love that, but not right at the beginning. I think that, like I'm saying, look at a kid holistically.
Yeah.
How even their circadian rhythm and just their regular rhythm throughout the day. 9 a.m. I'm starting, we're eating snack, we're doing this, this, and this. Okay, now they're really ready to wiggle. So we'll do that, kind of calm them down a little bit. We'll have a little bit of a break, and then we'll dive into our lessons, just depending on where the students are at.
Okay, and what time does your day end?
3.
Okay, so 9 to 3, and are your kids Monday through Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Monday through Friday, and then we do tutoring sessions through the township based off of referral. So, or even, Facebook referrals or anything like that. So,
okay.
I love like community education and just community networking. So, whoever sends them my way, I'm like, come on, let's learn. Let's see what the problem is.
Okay.
So,
I always ask because every micro school does it differently as far as like scheduling's concerned and like, again, holistically responding to the children of like what they actually need and that kind of thing. So within the vein of school choice, like what does that look like for you guys as a micro school and your kiddos coming to you? Do they use school choice funds to come to you? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, so I've battled with getting accredited by the Indiana Department of Education.
Okay.
With the recent election and new governor, who knows what that'll look like?
Yeah.
So I'm glad I waited.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to give Sunrise time to build more momentum, and it built more momentum than I thought. I knew there was a need.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I felt like the parents were hungry. So they were being fed this and they were eating it up like crazy, and then leaving no crumbs. That's how I had to say it. So it grew bigger than I thought it would. So this space you're saying is like a great space. This is my starter space. I have grown out of it. So I am praying for a building next year, saying all that to say that the school choice that I am accredited to accept is the ESA scholarship. And they've actually opened it recently, but it's tethered to children with IEPs, different needs. Okay. Kids of all abilities now can apply if their sibling has an IEP or a 504 plan. So that's, I would say, one of the ways that we get funding from the state. And if we were to go with that accreditation through the state, it would open up the school choice voucher for us.
Okay.
We need a building. So there's specific requirements. So the ESA scholarship is a blessing to us for now because curriculum is expensive. Different licenses per student is how it is calculated. So those are things I think that when people get the idea, they don't think about, and you got to be prepared for it. So that's one thing I am thankful about Indiana. and then crowdfunding, you know, so different small grants that are out there, and then just saying, hey, I started this GoFundMe for this, and people are generous. Like all of our devices, because I keep my ratio low for a reason, especially with it being a mixed age group.
Yeah.
I said 5-1. What the interest was bigger, so it's 7-1.
Okay, that's still amazing.
Yeah. So, and I was like, all right, okay, 7 is gonna be my max. Still more interest. So the reason why my day is built 9 to 3 too is the same with the school district, you know. And also because parents work.
Yes.
You know, so with me owning a daycare as well, I have that wraparound care. So we can shift from that to into after school care or before care. So yeah, we offer that to our families.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I wanted to, because I'm curious, I wanted to drill into like the accreditation process that you mentioned. So you said you were able to accept the ESA program for special needs, but is there an accreditation process for for all kids to receive it? I just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah, so the ESA, it comes through the Department of Treasury from the state of Indiana.
Okay.
It's not through the Department of Education. So I wouldn't be the best source of information for you. I do have that information, but I know that it's tailored for students that have like IEPs, 504s, and just different services that they need. Like that ESA scholarship helps with transportation, tutoring services.
Oh, that's amazing.
Not just like the whole, you know, just school scholarship. It's a wide variety of things that it helps with. With Sunrise as well, one of the things that we do, when I said, you know, we kind of approach the student holistically, we allow therapeutic push-in services.
Okay.
So
that's amazing.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that I notice with public schools is not often do they allow push-in. So from outside organizations.
From outside.
So we do have third-party agreements that they have to sign or whatever, but meet that kiddo with, you know, where they're at. If this is what they need, those personalized learning plans are there so that way that they're not missing any educational information or lessons, because we're going to pick up where you are in your plan. Go do your therapy, and we, you know, provide the space here too so that they can do that, because we do have enough space. And we, you know, if that's what they need, that's what they need. That's another issue that parents have of, you know, if they don't, the school doesn't allow push-in services, they got to take off work, drive the kid here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's where the enrollment kind of piqued interest, you know, but then that's why I'm saying, like, oh, they were like, oh, they can, you know, OT can come? Oh, okay, ABA can come? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that kid needs it. But they also
why not during the school day?
Exactly. They still need
outside.
Thank you. They need that. Absolutely. And to know that they're supported. And then they're not going to be like, oh, wait, where did I miss? The class is, we're on page 84. I was, you know, on 25 before I got pulled out, you know? So we don't have that issue.
Okay. And that's so important to highlight, because at least personally, I had a parent where she dropped them off, and then she'd have to run them to services. And she's like, can't they just do all their services here?
And then where's the day? It's over by then.
And there's no time to connect, like, with your children. So that's the beauty of, like, why I like to visit micro schools, because it's like we're creating these solutions in real time as quickly as possible when the district can't do it.
And while we operate 9 to 3, certainly there are students that, you know, do half days because they may have a more intensive outpatient program that they have to actually go to. So, like I said, we meet the student where they're at, but we're still going to meet those standards of where they need to be. We're always going to be measuring it. So,
And it sounds like, so I know you said you want to get a building next year. What does that look like here for a micro school? Is that like a hard process? I ask because
It's different for everybody.
It's different for every single state. I know the
Yeah.
process that I had to go through. What would it look like for you?
So I like the home-like setting. So
Yeah, this is so nice.
yeah, I've seen a lot of advantage with the home-like setting because some kids do better learning in their socks. You know, it's not a lot of pressure. They feel more comfortable.
Yes.
And so when you're comfortable, kids are sponges anyway. So, but if they're dry, they're not going to suck up anything, right?
True.
Comfortable, open them up, then they're retaining what I'm teaching. So I would probably still look for maybe like a ranch with a basement. Yeah.
That sounds.
I know. Yeah, we would still probably keep it in a home, just like not my house.
Yeah, that can be tough at times, but it is so relaxing. Even me being in this space, I'm like, I just feel
comfortable.
At ease.
Yeah, comfortable. Yeah. Everybody's like that here. It's hard to get people to leave.
Like, can I just stay?
Yeah, no, I would just like provide people with blankets, like, and they do, and it's totally fine. That's the vibe that we are. My family is a very close-knit and big family. So
I love that.
Yeah, I don't know a stranger. So, like I even said to you, like, oh yeah, come over for dinner, you know, before. That's the same kind of foundation that I have for my students. You know, no, you have to be comfortable. You have to be. You have to be able to trust me.
Yeah.
A lot of students, they have trust issues, and when they are just constantly looking, you know, it's just like a lot of thoughts are running through their head, except for what they're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because they were all, oh, I can't trust this lady. Like, what is she?
Yeah, it's like,
can you believe that she wore that? You know, like, they're everywhere. You have to meet them where they're at. And I feel like sometimes adults just forget. Like, you know? But even me as adults, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, what is she wearing? You know? Like, we have to remember that kids are still little people. You know? And I don't want to say that I don't hold children to a higher standard, because I do. So we do have those foundations in there and character model that I expect our students to follow, especially like when we go on field trips. So yes ma'am, no ma'am. You know, just respect is taught here as well. And I want you to carry it at home. Same thing with our faith-based practices. I thought it would run people away. That was another crumb everybody was eating. You pray? Oh yeah. What I want to come see. I want to get involved. How can I help? So, a lot of our extracurriculars, because I'm about that too. We can do them here. So we have volunteers from like different colleges come in and teach a lesson. So different music lessons, physical education lessons. I have a lot of help, and it's all on a volunteer basis because right now my funding situation, the way my bank account's set up. No, I just haven't. When we grow, we'll offer that. But as of right now, our community is coming together, and it's a beautiful thing because I feel like when you really want to do it, it's just so organic. You know what I mean? Like the lesson is really, you know that they're in it for the right reason and not just for the money. Not saying I ain't gonna pay people. Don't run people off, you know. But I have a lot of volunteers that are like, hey, I want to offer this to your class, and one of them is a nutrition and wellness segment that we do, and I love it. It's teaching kids about the different things that are in our food. You know, I know a lot of kids that will sell their soul for a bag of Takis. I do not understand.
I don't get it.
I don't understand.
Like, why are these things so popular?
And they're terrible for you.
Awful.
Absolutely terrible. And I'm not saying that I'm the best, you know, in physique, but no, I have to give you that knowledge, kid, that, hey, do you know what this ingredient is? Let's look at the bag of Takis. Let's see how many ingredients and carcinogens are in those types of things.
Or the ones that we can actually pronounce.
Exactly.
Probably none of them.
Exactly. I remember Eli Lilly had like a health clinic that you could go to, and it had like a whole human body like thing that it would teach you and show you, like it had a real model that you could touch.
Oh,
that
okay.
you could see the tar from smoking for a
Like
year.
in the lungs and
Yes,
stuff.
and then they had another lung that you could touch and feel, and this is what it's like at 10 years. And yeah, so I wish we still had that now, but we've tried to kind of create that here so that students know real world what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not just going, that's why I said, like, that controversy with me, like, kind of going by the state standards. And I think in Indiana, the micro schools and learning pods are really, like, I don't want to say government, but it is government, you know, that's who makes the state standards. And it's okay, I don't really care. I just know that our kids, you know, they need to know what's real. Give them that type of education. So, not saying that our schools don't do it. Yeah. I'm just saying meet that kid where they're at.
Yes.
You know that kid eats, you know, Takis, hot Cheetos, you know, and Red Pop, Faygo. Bring that in and then do a health lesson.
Yes.
Meet them where they're at.
Yes.
Where that they can understand. Don't just teach them, oh, you know, green leafy vegetables or this, because that's not what they're into. You got to segue into meeting them where they're at and then saying, hey, let's replace this as another alternative. So,
yeah, one of the things
difference.
It's one of the things is like very different. Even though you're doing the standards and stuff, you're bringing in real world examples of where this information is coming from. I know when I was a kid, like we do all these worksheets and all these things, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Yeah. I'm sure you said it as kids. Why are we doing this? Why? We
all say it. Like you get all these degrees, you know, I'm in a master's degree program, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Yeah. Like, and I hate it how they have these citation things, and my papers come back like 80% plagiarized, but it's not. It's my citations. Yeah. Because nothing that I'm writing has not been said before, you know? So it's like kind of frustrating, but at the same time, I don't think that that controversy with being aligned but misaligned with the state standards, like I'm not really, no, government, you know what I mean? Like, this is our freedom. I am, but I ain't, you know, let's be real. Y'all can say all of that, but at the end of the day, this is, your kid is going to get that HSE, you know what I mean? And still have to take that test to get their diploma.
What's an HSE?
It's a high school, it's the new way to say a GED.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
High school equivalency something.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure because I've never heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a GED, but basically that you did complete school.
Got it.
So that is the end goal for all of, you know, these homeschools and, you know what I mean? So, but incorporate real things into what they're going to go into. That, and I know I get that argument all the time, like, you're not even going to use this when you're older. Like, I get it, but when you take that test, when you take that test, this is what it's going to look like. It's not going to look like the good and the beautiful.
That is very true.
Exactly.
That is very true.
That's my stance, and I said it.
Yeah.
I said what I said.
So, one last thing I wanted to ask you is if there's a family out there that's struggling really bad, has gone to multiple schools, because I've talked to these types of families where they've gone to so many different schools and they haven't found the right fit. What advice would you offer them to find that community, find that right fit for their child? Because it can be hard being on this island all by yourself, not knowing what to do. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a big proponent. Like, my hashtags on Facebook are always, it takes a village. Some people don't have that village, but if you know me, you got a village, because I'm all about community and connecting you with, it's not about what you know, it's who you know. My advice would be to pray about it. You know, first go, if you believe in prayer or meditate, whatever, you know, really think about it from all aspects on how you want your education to look for your child. And then make an informed decision on, okay, is homeschool the best choice? Well, I work full time, so I don't know if I would, you know, be able to allow my kid, like, are they independent learners? It just depends. Like, parents really need to also meet their kids where they're at, you know, sometimes. And it's not on purpose that we have that disconnect in families now. It's, our world is just so demanding.
Mm-hmm. Everything is a right now world. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it does pull us apart. So there might be, a difference in what the parent is saying versus what the student actually is. Mm-hmm. Learn your student and then make an informed decision. Check out micro schools. There's plenty of them. Learning pods, if you need to, I look at learning pods as like a supplement. Okay. They're not, and I could be misinformed. Don't come at me. I know, I'm already controversial.
There's so many different definitions and how people see things.
But I look at them as a supplement. Same thing for co-ops. It's like, oh, we're going to do this today. We're going to go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a supplement. It's not a full course education. Yeah. Depending on what you're looking for and what best meets your students' needs and your lifestyle. Look at it from a holistic approach and be honest. Yeah. You have to really be honest with yourself because our public school system, it's a daycare. Yeah. That's a daycare.
Agreed.
But be honest about it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's kind of hard to admit, because I was an educator in that space, trying my best, but it felt like I was babysitting. Absolutely. Absolutely. So is that what you want? Is that what you're looking for? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, as a micro school leader, you have to set boundaries with families and their expectations. True. So my advice, pray, make an informed decision, speak with your kids, speak with your spouses or whoever your significant other and see what that looks like, because there's a lot to it. Transportation, mm-hmm. But I mean, people honestly, with Indiana having such a big, wide variety of types of schools out here, they travel. Yeah. Yeah, people will travel from different, even with my daycare, because it's such a unique niche. Mm-hmm. Most of my families are from different cities. Okay. So, which I think is so funny. But there's a lot of traffic out here.
It is. And they're coming from way far, but you can't put a price on the relaxation that they feel here. And it just, sometimes it just blows my mind. I'm like, really? You don't want to come check me out further? I could be a murderer. But I'm not. But I'm just saying, really that's how disconnected we are. Mm-hmm. I see that from parents a lot. They're like, hey, I've heard about you from somebody else. That's all the qualifications that they need. Yeah. No, I like to get to know you. I like to get to know your student, because those things are important. You never know what's going on with somebody.
That is true.
So...
And I think the word of the mouth thing is when there's a ton of people saying the same thing about a person, a micro school.
Yeah, and I appreciate it.
That's where I need to be. Yeah. That's where my babies need to go.
Yeah, I really do appreciate it. And it really took me to a level that I never, I don't want to say I doubted myself, mm-hmm. but I just wanted to, I'm one of those people, like I told you, I'm very just, okay, just in case, this is the button we're pushing, I had it, but it superseded my expectations because there are parents out there that are looking at it the way that I am, mm-hmm. or they're in need like that. There's so many parents that are coming to me and they're like, I don't have anybody. Yeah. I didn't think about it like that. Do you have time to talk to me about it? Yes. Absolutely. Grab a blanket. Yeah. Yeah. And let's talk. But I'm writing down because, that's just how I operate. So, pray, think about it, and make an informed decision that's best for your family. Because it has to be a right fit for your family. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, even though I'm not in this community, I want to say thank you for offering this to your community because there's so many parents out there that are just looking for a village, someone that's going to love on their baby. Absolutely. The way they love on their baby. Mm-hmm. So
that's
thank
important.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all welcome.
Yeah. So for people that want to reach out to you, maybe I didn't ask a question that they want to know, how can they reach you?
Yeah. So the best way to reach me would be from my personal Facebook. Just because you can also reach us at our website, sunriselearningacademy.org. Or look me up on Facebook, NaShawn Edwards, unfortunately, my government name, but yeah. If you work with me, don't. Yeah, feel free totally to reach out to me. And the people I work with know I'm silly like this too, so they would totally expect this from me. So, look us up online. we'll be posting more. Like I said, Sunrise Learning Academy superseded my expectations.
Yeah.
The community really came out. The volunteers that have came, that have really just had a heart for it. It's been amazing. Like,
Yeah.
My vision, is one thing, but if we're agreeing,
Yeah.
it's just, like the Bible says, when 2 or 3 are gathered together, it's just something that I didn't expect. I didn't expect it to go as far as it did. And I'm so thankful because, I can do one thing, but to have other people come in, and I'm very protective of my kiddos.
Yeah.
Whether it's your kid or mine, they're going to get the same type of mama bear protection, auntie protection from Nani. Because my students all call me Nani.
Oh, okay.
So, and I say that to say, I vet my people very well, but I surround my circle and my village with like-minded people. And these people have gravitated to me. It's not people that I've had to seek after.
Yeah.
The Lord has really put me in all the right places to meet these great people. And it's just like, I got a need for this. Are you available? And they're like, what? Yes. How cool is that? Like, that would be totally awesome for me to do that. So, yeah. Now I forget what we were even talking about, but because you got me almost crying.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and Sunrise Learning Academy, because I really do feel like at ease here. I don't know if it's like the sense or like, I don't know, but I feel at ease here.
That's on purpose. And then the colors, is
the colors.
Very intentional to just make it a relaxing environment. We're also, a trauma-informed practice model as well, which is funny because I just sent my husband an article that came out on Fox 59. It's our local news station.
Okay. That
was saying that public schools should adopt trauma-informed teaching methods. And I was like, they stole my idea. They did. I'm like, is your car bugged? Like, who is listening? Because this was my idea first. No. But I'm glad to know it really is reaching all over. Like, this is a movement.
Yes.
This is a movement. And it's gaining momentum. The open school choice and having the freedom to do that, I think, is amazing here in Indiana.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of regulation, which is why I don't get the animosity towards the state standards, because I know a lot of other states, there might be that they're worried about, CPS or DCS knocking on their door. Here we don't have that issue. So we have, as long as you're documented, at the end of the day, if you don't get that GED or HSE, whatever, that's the end goal, is for you to prove that you have that base knowledge at some point. So that is where our state is headed,
Yeah.
Period.
It's exciting here.
Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen with this, new election, new governor and whatever is going on. I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. Sunrise will still be here. And we're going to continue to grow and pray for a building, because I feel it. Like, I really do feel it in my bones. It's got to happen. And if it doesn't, we'll just continue to cram in here. You know? It's been working. It's just, and it's fun. Yeah. It is really fun. What gets me most excited, which other people kind of frown upon, is when I am doing those, NWEA or DIBELS, my assessments to see, okay, we're at this point in the learning plan, because I go by dates too. Let's measure and see how far you come and where you measure. And I do match it up against district data. So when they're above, I'm like, yes. Yes, I knew you could do it. I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
You did this. Not me, you. That baby did it.
Yeah, and to see their own growth.
They love it.
Huge.
They love it. It's, a lot of times my students, they just come in with low confidence. They don't trust until they get relaxed, and then I meet them where they're at, get to know their family, and then, all right, this is how we're going to learn. I don't have a lot of problem students. it's more parents.
Yeah.
It's more the parents. So setting healthy boundaries, but also parents setting, realistic expectations. So when you ask, what would you say to the family? I want them to look and, be realistic.
Yeah.
Like, does this fit with what you're looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Lifestyle wise. And, I think it's funny, like, when people send their kids to Catholic schools, but they're not Catholic. But they're looking at the quality of the education.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So same thing here. This is an apostolic institution. So we have a lot of kiddos that are not apostolic. It's totally fine, but that's exposure and ministering, pouring into that kid, and they'll hold that for the rest of their life. You always get it. And I'm not sorry about it.
I don't think you should be, because there's, at least with all these different options, there's something for everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we have in Indiana.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep pushing forward. I don't think I would get an accreditation through the Indiana Department of Education anytime soon. Mm-hmm. I know some parents ask that. But now they're not even looking at, we've got accredited schools that have failing students. So, our schools are becoming, I hate to say it, but I hope they look at this as a call to action and not a call out, like I'm confronting the public schools around us. But stop being a diploma mill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no reason why I'm going through the McDonald's line, which I shouldn't be anyway. But I hand, a young person a $20 bill. And they're like, this is fake. And I'm like, you said what?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think you've ever seen a $20 bill before.
Or they can't make the change for it.
Exactly. She didn't know how to break the change. But I thought all of that stuff was automatic. So, even the manager came up. She's like, haha, next time make sure you give it to us before the ink is, dry. And I'm like, haha, give me my change.
Yeah.
But they're not used to that. And it's just mind-blowing, because I know that you need a diploma to even work at McDonald's. But these are the type of young people that we're putting into our society. Mm-hmm. But the older generation is complaining about it. So don't look at it as I'm confronting or anything, but a call to action. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you see students, that's what I like about, talking to different school leaders. If you know a student would be a better fit for somewhere else, that's totally okay. Mm-hmm. Stop looking at our kids as dollar signs. Yes. They have to stop doing that.
Let's put that on a poster.
Yeah, no, seriously. So I'm not calling you out, but I'm calling you out. Really look at it from, who's caring here? Yeah. We're caring about the dollars because that student has an IEP. Mm. Or, we need this much diversity. So we're just, no, teach that baby how to read.
Yes, please.
You know what I mean? Like, I've come across kids, third grader, knows how to do all kinds of TikTok dances.
Oh, yeah.
And say all kind of words that they can't even read on paper. No, we're not doing that here. Yeah. And that's not that baby's fault.
No, it's not.
Not that baby's fault. I'm like, how did you even get to... Yeah, it's a big deal. And that is something that those are government regulated institutions because they're public schools. Mm-hmm. So if anybody wants to fight me about accreditation and not being accredited, that's my argument. Okay. Right there. And it's true.
It is true. Yeah, it's very true.
It's true. Very, very, very true. And we know it. Yeah. We know it because in Indiana, I swear I say Indianapolis is the biggest small town city. I feel like everybody knows everybody. Uh-huh. But Indianapolis is huge, though.
It is huge.
It's huge. Like, and we're separated by sides of town. Like, you can tell if somebody's from the west side, like, just by how they talk, It's just, like, different things like that. But as a big, small community, we know we could be doing better. Yeah. We know we could be doing better. So if we could get together collectively and say, oh, I know Sunrise does this, or, oh, I know Arrows does this, different academies, you would be a better fit over here. I'm not trying to gatekeep,
Yes.
for the money. I want
Because
the
there's a
best.
place for everybody.
Exactly. It might not be Sunrise Learning Academy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not why it was created. So we don't just accept everybody. We have a process of acceptance, and you know, I'm not going to say it's rigorous, but we just want to make sure that we're a right fit. There's no reason to waste anybody's time.
That is the truth. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And I
Absolutely.
know
thank you for having me.
parents will reach out to you. Maybe
Yeah.
this is a place for them if they happen to be in Indiana.
Absolutely.
And even if you're not and you just have some questions or need some advice, please reach out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure NaShawn will answer any questions. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.